Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into something a bit different today.
Always. What have you got for us?
Well, we're going deep on a news clipping, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, about Nigerian politics.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's an article from Vanguard.
I know Vanguard.
Yeah, it's called 2027. I won't contest Oyo governorship election, FIRS boss at Adedeji.
Hmm.
And it was published just a couple days ago, January 1st, 2025.
Very recent.
Yeah, and I know you might be thinking, why are we focusing on just one article?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
But trust me, this one's a real rabbit hole.
Okay.
It gives us a really good look into how these individual decisions can really shake up the political landscape,
Yeah, I see that.
like a butterfly effect.
Exactly. And speaking of individuals, this article is all about Mohammed Nami,
Right.
the current chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Or, as the article calls him, the FRS boss.
Catchy.
Yeah. So his big announcement is that he won't be running for governor of Oyo State in the 2027 election.
So he's saying what he won't do.
Right. And that's what makes this so interesting.
Yeah. Because it's making headlines anyway.
Exactly. So the question is, why is this such a big deal?
Well, for one thing, this announcement really shows us how much political influence Nami actually has.
Okay, so how influential is he in Nigerian politics?
Oh, he's very influential. Very.
How so?
Well, think about it. Being the head of the FIRS,
Mm-hmm.
he's basically in charge of the whole country's tax collection.
Right.
So that authority, it translates into serious political capital,
I see, yeah.
He's a force to be reckoned with.
So was he considered a front-runner then
Oh, for sure.
for the governorship?
Yeah, people were definitely talking about him as a potential candidate.
Interesting.
And that's exactly why him pulling out is causing such a stir.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like everyone was expecting him to play, and now the whole game has changed.
Right. Like a big shakeup in the middle of the game.
Exactly. And now everyone's trying to figure out what this means.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's like a game of chess where one of the major pieces just got taken off the board.
Okay, so thinking about that chess game analogy, what could this decision do to the other parties?
Well, it really throws things wide open.
How so?
It creates this power vacuum.
Okay.
Now you've got all these different parties and alliances scrambling to find someone to replace him, someone who has that same level of clout that Nami does.
Interesting.
Or you could see some existing alliances start to fracture,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that makes sense.
Because some people are going to see this as their chance to grab some more power.
Right, like an opportunity.
Exactly. Politics is all about seizing opportunities.
Yeah, that's true.
And Nami stepping back, well, that just created a huge opportunity for somebody.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about Nami's motivations, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Is this, like, him stepping back from politics entirely?
Hmm.
Or is it, like you said, a calculated move for something bigger?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The article does mention some speculation about his future.
Does it?
Yeah, there's talk about him possibly aiming for a national role.
Oh, well.
Down the line, of course.
Yeah.
But it's all just interpretation at this point, reading between the lines.
Right, sure.
Some people think he might be eyeing a ministerial position or maybe even something higher.
Wow, that's pretty ambitious.
It is.
So, say he is aiming for a national position.
Okay.
What kind of challenges do you think he'd run into?
Well, Nigerian politics is complicated.
Yeah, I imagine.
It's not just going to be a smooth ride to the top.
What do you think would stand in his way?
Well, even with all his influence, he'd still have to deal with all the alliances and the rivalries, the internal party politics, all that.
Yeah, I see.
He'd need some powerful people backing him up
Wait.
and a really solid campaign strategy just to get his foot in the door,
Makes sense.
And then there's the whole question of public perception.
Oh,
Do
right.
people see him as someone who's ready for a national role?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, there's a lot to consider.
It's really interesting how this one article can show us so much
Oh, yeah.
about how these things work, these political dynamics.
Absolutely.
And it makes you realize that these decisions, these events, even if they seem small on the surface,
Yeah.
they can have these huge ripple effects.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's a reminder to really think critically about the news.
I agree.
To ask ourselves, who are the players involved? What are their motivations? What's the whole story?
Exactly. What's left unsaid, right?
Right. So we've talked a lot about Nami,
We have.
But what about everyone else running for governor of Oyo State?
Oh, that's where things get really exciting.
How so?
Well, for some of them, NAMI dropping out is like a dream come true.
Yeah, less competition.
Exactly. Suddenly, the path to victory looks a lot clearer. But for others, it might be a bit intimidating.
Oh, that's so.
Well, now they've got to compete with people who might be feeling a lot more confident.
Right.
Now that NAMI's out of the picture.
Interesting, yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out.
Absolutely. This one announcement has the potential to affect things for years to come.
Oh, definitely.
It's like we're at the start of a whole new chapter
A new chapter.
in this political story.
Yeah, it makes you wonder who will step up.
Right. Who's going to fill that void that NAMI's left?
What new alliances will we see?
Exactly. It's exciting.
Definitely. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive for today.
That was a good one.
Glad you liked it. We'll be back soon with another fascinating story. Who knows what we'll uncover next?
Can't wait.
See you all then.